Welcome back as always, guys. Armed Prepared Citizen Reconnaissance Loadout. That's what this one's going to be. So, obviously this is another one in my Armed Prepared Citizen Loadout series. As always, please go watch the introductory opening video in this series. It's in the playlist before you watch the video if you haven't watched it already. It'll explain details that you'll need to know before you watch this and before you decide to start commenting. So, that said, moving forward, as always, this loadout is set up for me and my situation, my location, who I'll be doing it with, etc., etc., right? So, for me, the three big things that I'll be conducting will be static security patrols, and then probably third on that list would be a reconnaissance type mission, for lack of a better word. So to give you some context, because you guys know I'm big on context is everything. Let's say that one of our patrols on our property, and yes, it's a sizable piece of property, spots a group somewhere on the property, close by to the property, whatever, and doesn't know if they're a threat, if they're not a threat, what their deal is, anything about them, whatever. They just know there's somebody who's set up camp close by, or maybe they've spotted somebody who has set up a spot to observe our property, and the person that they spotted doesn't know they've been spotted yet, right? Just a couple of potential scenarios to give you context. In that case, we may want to go out and do some reconnaissance on them, set up, and watch them. We're just gathering information, okay? It's not a Hollywood sniper mission, you know, it's not a direct action mission. We're just going to gather information. We want to see who they are, what they're up to, what they're doing, etc., etc. So that's going to bring in a totally different loadout and even mindset for you versus other things you might be doing. And I don't think some people really get just how different that would be. As armed prepared citizens, regardless of what's going on, we really don't want to be seen, if at all possible. Like, go watch the patrol loadout video. I don't remember if I mentioned it in that or not, but even our security patrols around our property, we don't want to get spotted. We want to be stealthy and sneaky and unseen and mobile and maneuverable, right? We're not looking to get into a fight. We're not going on a direct action mission to kick in doors. That all requires different gear, but also different mindset and where you're going, right? Okay, we can ramble on that forever. Different video. So, time of year is going to dictate what I wear. For this time of year, right now when I'm recording this video, when it's close to the surface of the sun heat and it feels like somewhere in the Amazon humidity wise, it's light and thin. I'll have my combat shirt on, BDU pants, hot weather boots that vent a lot, etc. I may, pardon me, I may take my little homemade BDU vest with me that covers the body of the combat shirt. I would pack that in my ruck. That would be very dependent on, quite honestly, the insect situation, because the tiger mosquitoes out here will carry you off. They bite through this like it's not even there, and there's usually about 15 million of them when you run into them. Fortunately, right now, they're not a problem, so I can get away with just this. I always recommend, regardless of what you're doing, a good sniper veil. These are so useful on so many different levels. They are a true multi-use, multi-purpose item that doesn't really cost you any bulk or weight or even expense. They're stupid cheap. And they are really good for just even doing what I'm doing right now, trying to keep my eyes from melting off from all the sweat pouring into them. Good piece of gear to have. So, primarily what I'm going to run for this situation, and this may flabbergast y'all, would be this simple chest rig right here. Now, I have the option if I want to of pulling my GP pouch and my bleeder pouch off of my patrol rig. Easy enough to do, takes 5 minutes. I could do that before I started out. I don't keep them on this rig simply because my patrol rig is what I would grab more often in more situations, so that's what I keep ready to grab and go. This was a more situationally dependent setup, but it's just a simple, lightweight chest rig. I've got 220 round mags in there because, again, this is going to be supporting that reconnaissance mission. For that reconnaissance type mission, I'm going to run one of two guns. I'm either going to run my recce gun, or I will run my SPR. It all depends on what I'm doing, where I've got to be at around this area, and that sort of thing. Probably more often than not, I'll be running this one. It's a little bit more portable. It's a little lighter weight, and while it doesn't have quite as much magnification as my SPR does, that's got a 14x. This is only a 10x. This one goes down to 2.5, so it lets me, use it in the woods should I come in contact a little easier. That 2.5x isn't a problem. A little bit, well, I already says more portable, a little bit shorter barrel, etc. It's not quite the tack driver that one is, but I say that, and the other one shoots little dime-sized groups at 100, and this one shoots nickel to quarter-size groups at 100. Go figure. Whoopee on the difference there, right? So, this would be the gun I'd run. Now, one of the other things that I would take with me, I wouldn't wear it, I would take it with me, would be this boonie hat, right? Now, I've got this boonie hat set up with just a little bit of camo net on it. I would put that either in or on my pack. This is what I would use when I got to wherever I was going and got set up to observe and watch whatever it was I wanted to observe and watch, right? Between this, my sniper veil, and my cover that I keep in the pack right here, I could completely cover myself and be camouflaged and hidden and nobody know I'm there. So just kind of show you what it looks like. Again, it's not one that I would wear while I was moving to the location, but I would use this once I got to where I was going, because once I prone out, I can pull this down over the face, and of course my rifle's going to be under here, and then when I put my sniper veil over the gun, it really breaks up the outline and conceals your gun and everything else. It breaks up your head, etc. Now, you could move in this if you wanted to. The problem is, as thick as this terrain is around here, and this is open, most of it's way thicker than this, which is why I'm recording here, because it's actually open enough you can see me. This just gets snagged and pulled on everything. It's a royal pain in the butt to try to move through the woods with. Trust me, I've done it. So this would get packed away in the pack. I would just wear my regular boonie to get me to where I was going, and then once I got there, I would add this in. So there's that. Now, for my pack, I would be running either my Crossfire DG3 or my Crossfire DG16. It's going to depend on how far I've got to go and how long I intend to stay out. Because how long I intend to stay out is going to dictate which one I take, because that's going to dictate how much water and food I've got to take. More water and food I've got to take, bigger ruck I got to have. So the ruck's going to be dependent on that. I may also take my DG1 with either ruck, because once I got to where I was going to set up and we set up our RON, R-O-N, that's where we would drop the big rucks at, and then I would take the little DG1 off, and that's what I would take and have with me when I went and laid up to be on observation, so that I had water with me, my binoculars, other things, you know, notepad, yada yada yada, all the stuff I'd want to have to recon something. I would primarily be operating in a two-man team. We could switch that up if we needed to and do more. We could do a 3 or 4-man team if we needed to. It's just going to be dependent, but primarily probably a 2-man team. So, that said, the Crossfire rucks, guys, I'm telling you, go watch my videos on those. They are the bomb. I'm sold on it. This one, by running this simple chest rig, that allows me to really dial in the ruck. I can get the weight on my hips. I've got enough stuff in here to last me 3 or 4 days easy. I could stretch it further if I needed to. You know, nobody said this is going to be comfortable or fun, right? So, make sure those are tightened down good. And then I would put this in or on the pack, and then get my recce. Now, I could step off, go set up, do my recon, find me a nice little hidey hole to observe whatever it is I wanted to observe in, and go from there. One thing obviously I'm not showing y'all, and this would apply for any time I was stepping off to do something, would be face paint. People laugh at it, people make fun of it, but it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference, okay? I would be wearing face paint if I was actually doing this for real. I'm not wearing it now because for the 15 or 20 minutes that it takes me to do the video, honestly, I don't want to waste it. I've got plenty, but why waste it if I don't have to? You guys get the idea. It's not going to change the context of the video, me not having face paint on, but I would be wearing it if I was doing it for real. So keep that in mind. Even something as simple, guys, as one of the little 2-color GI type tubes. Those will work fine. I mean, you can get real fancy with the face paint, but those work great. Smear it on, go from there. In a pinch, find you a mud hole and rub some mud on you. Something to get your face dirty, tone down the shine and the whiteness. So, and I say that, now let me just, the key thing, bugs don't taste good, is the shine. And I got to stop and say this, because those of you that are watching and are anything other than white, the same still applies for you. Regardless of the color of your skin, you will still have shine on it, especially if you sweat any. Face paint, even on darker colored skin people, whether you're Latino, Asian, Indian, black, whatever, still use face paint, guys. Still use it. Dulls down that shine, gets rid of it, not a problem. All right, so this would be my recce, for lack of a better term, loadout if I had to do a reconnaissance type mission where I was going to be out overnight for 2 or 3 days, nights, set up, stationary, watching something. I'm just simply trying to observe something. I'm not going out to get into a fight. I'm not looking to get into a fight. Don't want to get into a fight. If I get into a fight, something's gone really, really bad wrong. So this is my loadout. Again, you set up yours for your situation, where you're at, what you're doing, who you're with, etc. And do you. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination saying you need to copy me. I have very specific reasons why I'm using what I'm using and doing what I'm doing. some of which, quite honestly, I'm not going to mention on video. Sorry, you're just not privy to that. Need to know basis and all that kind of jazz, right? Oh, and for all the former wannabe sergeant majors in the crowd, I'm not bound by any military uniform or dress code regulations, and haven't been since way back in the 90s. So I'm going to wear and use what I want. Sorry if you don't like it. Again, you do you, boo. You'll be all right, I promise. All right, guys. This one's kind of short and simple. There you go. I wanted to go step off and be sneaky for a few days. This is pretty much how I do it. Hope somebody gets something out of it. Set yours up for you. Take all your stuff into consideration and do you, right? Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one.